From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the New News. I'm Andrea Lutz. We start this afternoon in the Pacific Northwest, where people are still suffering from dangerously high temperatures. Crews are battling wildfires across the region, and the heat is putting a strain on the power grid. Lilia Luciano is in Seattle, which reached its hottest day on record.
For the first time ever, Seattle reached triple-digit temperatures Monday for a third day in a row.
Everything's sold out. Like today, we couldn't get any ice. Everything is completely gone.
For days, a dome of stifling heat has parked itself over the Pacific Northwest, causing some restaurants like this drive-in to temporarily close and roads to buckle. Tanker trucks in Seattle hose down drawbridges to try to keep the steel from expanding.
Here we go.
Larry Snyder calls himself a community helper, taking donations to give water to the homeless or anyone in need.
Water is the one thing that the people on the street are really short of right now.
In Portland, which reached a record-breaking 116 degrees on Monday, the extreme heat was enough to bring light rail and streetcar service to a halt. Transportation officials posted this picture, writing, "Here's what the heat is doing to our power cables." Some cities even had to close public pools. In Seattle, the hot pool deck made conditions unsafe.
Part of the reason I moved here was to come in the summer to have relief from Arizona heat. And I seem to have brought it with me, so I'm not real thrilled.
Temperatures are expected to come down this week, but they'll still be around 90 degrees, which is 20 degrees higher than the average. And because most residents of Seattle don't have AC, people are resorting to all kinds of ways to stay cool, including occupying almost every hotel room in the city. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Seattle.
50 temperature records were broken in British Columbia, Canada, with most of the area dealing with extreme heat. The majority of BC is still under a heat warning, but that's expected to start easing off by Wednesday. On Sunday, 60 communities in the province an all-night, single-day or all-time record, including the small community of Linton, which was the hottest place ever recorded in Canada on both Sunday and Monday. It was the first time also schools in BC had to close because of that extreme heat. And we are going to see some conditions heat up of our own here in Montana.
Absolutely.
Here's our Miller Robson with a look at the weather.
Yep, that's right. We got several spots that could see record temperatures this week as we're only getting hotter as we take a look at temperatures across the state right now, mainly in the 80s. We do have some 90s there. Jordan sitting at 90, and we've got some 70s as well at Cody. I just want to throw this up here with the extreme heat that we have out there. We do have excessive heat warnings in effect through Thursday night over in the northwest corner of Montana. Also a heat advisory, central parts, north central, and over to the east. We've got that excessive heat watch that's in effect. We're talking about triple-digit temperatures, not to mention what the heat index may be. So over the next several days, you want to stay indoors in the air conditioning if you got it. If you have to go outside, limit your time and keep yourself hydrated. We'll have a complete look at that forecast, that sizzling forecast coming up here in just a bit, Andrea.
Sizzling for sure. All right, Miller, we'll check in with you in a little bit.
Okay.
The U.S. Supreme Court just delivered a gut punch to the coal industry in Montana and Wyoming. Justices ruled the two states are not allowed to sue Washington state over its decision to not allow a coal export dock to be constructed there. The facility would have shipped Montana and Wyoming coal to Asia. Washington officials cited environmental concerns as the reason for blocking the permit. But Montana and Wyoming argued the move violated trade protections with the U.S. Constitution. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon called the ruling extremely frustrating. Active COVID-19 cases fell below 400 in our state, marking a continued steady decline. Still, hospitalizations remain steady for the past few months. In April, 50 people were in the hospital with COVID-19 and case numbers were higher, but just last week, 58 people were in Montana hospitals with the virus. Health officials say unhealthy people are the ones contracting COVID-19, and those in the hospital usually have other risk factors like diabetes. Hospital workers say it's important for those individuals to get vaccinated.
A lot of people are hesitant, I think, because of how sick they might get if they're vaccinated, but I can testify that being hospitalized with COVID is a lot more detrimental to work schedules and lifestyles than than the vaccine.
And just yesterday, the death of a Yellowstone County resident was reported. That man was the 6th person to die from the virus in the county this month, and 275th overall. President Joe Biden will take his case for a new infrastructure package on the road. The president will tour a public transit station in Wisconsin and talk about the long-term economic benefits of the package. He says 90% of the jobs created by the nearly $1 trillion plan could go to workers without college degrees. A bipartisan group of senators agreed the framework of the deal last week, and that infrastructure investment would be the largest since the 1930s. All right, Marshall Mountain will be under new ownership near Missoula, but it will be closed to public access for a few weeks as the city irons out an initial management plan. But as MTN's Dennis Bragg reports, the city is promising lots of public participation as the future plans are drawn up.
It's only been a week since Marshall Mountain sold to new local owners, but new signs posted by the city of Missoula might be catching some people off guard.
We're going to spend the next few weeks making sure we understand and assessing the site. We want to make sure it's safe for folks. And then in early August, the exact date to be announced, it'll be open for public access. So non-scheduled, just show up, self-initiated, come out and play.
The word seems to be getting out. Monday morning, the parking lot was empty and the former resort was quiet, but not for long. During last week's press conference, Gockler explained the property will be cleaned up for safety, and then work starts right away with the city, county, and user groups developing a long-term plan.
What are the partnerships like? How do we go about managing it? And what will the future be? What are the things that can happen here? Yes, it was a ski place. It's been a wonderful destination for biking. But a lot of people don't know about the uses that families experience. One of my dreams for this place is that it's truly, fully accessible and inclusive.
There's an expectation of tremendous need, too, post-pandemic. Another reason the Wish Campers and Volkman stepped in to keep Marshall Mountain in local ownership.
We saw more interest in recreation programs and access to public lands than we've ever seen before. Sometimes that growth was 35%, sometimes it was 50% or more growth.
And even when Marshall Mountain reopens for public access later this summer, city officials are hoping people will continue to treat this special piece of property with respect.
So much with a person's experience on a mountain or any recreation area has to do with the way everybody behaves. And I can't say it any simpler than that, is really be respectful. Think about how others are using the site. Some people are up here for solitude and quiet. Some people are up here to, kind of have a rowdy, fun time. But if we can take care of the place and if we can take care of each other, we're all going to be better off for it in the long run. We're all in it together.
At Marshall Mountain, Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
The city of Missoula will post access updates and engage Missoula and Parks and Recreation friends as well on their homepages and their Facebook pages. All right, we have more ahead on today's new news, including bracing for that big Montana heat wave that Miller's been talking about, but we are going to share with you some places where you can cool down. Already established, this is up in Kalispell. We'll take you there. But Miller is back in, and he's got another look at that statewide weather forecast.